Hello, just waiting for more people to come in. Hello, Devon. So hello, everyone. Welcome to All Things Pan. I'm your host, Danielle George. As you know, we are sponsored by Pantastics 868, and we're also sponsored by Augustus Peter Steel Pans. So that's exciting. I see some new people on here. If you don't know, we talk to panists like Kareem here, arrangers, composers, builders, tuners, just talking about all things pan. So welcome, Kareem, to the show.
Hello, how are you doing tonight?
Good. How are you?
I'm good.
That's good. How was your Thanksgiving?
It was all right.
Yeah.
It's a family day for me. pretty much.
Okay. All right. So you were able to see your family.
Yeah, I mean, for us, every Sunday is Thanksgiving.
Nice. Nice. So I just want to give you a little warning. Near the end of the show, I would say about 15 minutes, I love the viewers to ask you some questions. So you'll be in the hot seat for a bit.
Nice.
That cool?
Yeah, that's cool.
All right. So we'll start off easy. Who is Kareem Thompson?
Um, Kareem Thompson is a man who loves music, loves his family, and loves his people, pretty much.
Okay. So where did the dream come from? Who gave you that nickname?
Um, I kind of gave myself that nickname with a combination
Okay.
of somebody else giving me that nickname. Uh, so I was called that, but then it was like, I mean, why Kareem the Dream? But then it was somebody that I was playing basketball with.
Right.
So, I have the moves on the court. So
Uh-huh.
Hakeem the Dream, Elijah Wan, and Kareem the Dream. So, but,
Okay.
but naturally, I'm a dreamer, so it kind of fits me perfectly.
Nice, nice. So you're saying you play basketball?
Yeah.
All right. I don't play, but I'll shoot with you.
Right, right, nice.
So who or what got you involved in Steel Pan?
I would say the main reason would be, well, the who part would be my grandfather, Edgar
Okay.
Fitzgerald.
Okay.
Yeah, he kind of, I wouldn't even say he introduced it to me because it was in the house. So, you know what I mean? Eventually
Right.
started playing around with it. And I mean, of course he did introduce, because if he didn't place the instruments there, you know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah,
So
so
you weren't forced into it, you just kind of fell into it.
I fell right into it.
And I'm assuming it was a tenor or a double second
Yeah, tenor.
tenor.
Yeah.
Is that your go-to instrument or do you?
Uh, my go-to instrument now would be double seconds.
Okay. Do you play any other or would you like to play any other instruments?
As far as pan or instruments in general.
Instruments in general.
As far as pan, I played all the pans already.
Okay.
Probably besides like quads and stuff like that.
Right.
Any other instrument I play a little drums. I could fool around on drums and on keyboard, and I just started learning bass. I have a bass here that I just started playing around with. So,
How's that going so far?
so far so good. It's kind of challenging going from holding your sticks like this to actually playing with your fingers now.
Right, right.
But with practice, it'll come like second nature.
Sure, sure. So you're not getting the calluses yet?
No, not at
No.
all. Even when I play piano, like I can't play for too long because after a while my fingers and my hands start hurting me.
Right, right, right.
That technique, but yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. So, you, as I mentioned before, you're an arranger and a composer. Who are your musical influences, or what are your musical influences? Besides, I know you focus on jazz, but is there any other musical influence that you kind of look towards?
I would probably say my musical mentor, who would be Scipio Sargent. He passed away in like 2006.
Right,
Besides him, it would be Bradley, Bugsy, Stevie Wonder. I have a long list, but
right.
I'll just stop right there.
Just
Yeah.
good to know. Good to um, I don't know if a lot of people know, but you released an album, Pan Roots Culture, in 2017. And you also were featured in Elan Trotman's, a couple of his albums.
Mhm.
What made you decide to put out your own album?
As an artist, I always wanted to have a debut album, so
Hmm.
that was the right time, perfect time. Um,
Right.
I had got in touch with some really good musicians like Sheldon Twaits,
Hmm.
Jonathan Michelle, who plays bass, Alex Mosley plays guitar, Chad
Right.
Soul, he plays keyboard, and I had the opportunity to play with those great musicians. For
Hmm.
well, I had the opportunity as having them on my album, so that was cool.
Nice, nice.
And I had the compositions ready. It was just to record it and put it out. And
Nice.
it was pretty much the time for that album.
Okay. Okay, so if anyone hasn't heard it, I suggest you do. It's a great album. Do we expect any more coming soon?
Yeah, well, I was planning on releasing one this year, but the whole COVID thing happened and
Right.
a lot of plans changed. But next year for sure.
Nice. Do you have a title already?
No, not yet.
Not yet. When it comes to arranging and composing, what is your process like? Do you do it just whatever's in your head? Do you go to your computer, kind of play around with it? What's your...
Well, it's usually right from my head, but I want to get out of that habit.
Right.
So when I arranged for Sesame Flyers in 2010, I pretty much did the whole arrangement from my head.
Okay.
But I usually compose and arrange from my piano.
Mm.
I feel like with the keyboard or piano being a flat instrument, I could kind of see the whole orchestra, especially
Right.
with the range as well. I can see the whole orchestra of, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Different ranges
So,
of them. Yeah.
yeah. So you eventually want to move to the computer, or you just kind of...
I mean, I do use a computer because I produce as well. So,
Okay.
but it's a balance. I got to try to use the computer more and still be able to, you know what I mean, go off the top of my head when necessary.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So as an arranger myself, I need to get away from it, but I rather just go from my head because if I hear it and I just want to get it out. I can't play around with it and
Right, right.
do that. So I know I should get out of that habit, but I can't. It's
I
hard.
mean, it has its pros and its cons, just like everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure, for sure. What made you decide to become an arranger or a composer?
Um, I just have so much music in my head.
Right.
Yeah, and arranging especially helps me to express everything that's in my head.
Right.
Composing is more of a more drawn out process for me. Like sometimes I
Okay.
spend like months just trying to make every composition as perfect as possible.
Mm.
Which
All right.
sometimes perfect doesn't exist. You always want to add something or get somebody else's opinion at least.
Right. Right. Um, who or what was your first song that you arranged? And was that for yourself or was that for a band?
It was for a band and when I went to Florida Memorial
Okay.
in Miami before I transferred to Berklee.
Okay.
I arranged an original song called "Just for You." I arranged it for the Florida Memorial Steel Band.
Okay.
It was not good, but in my opinion,
Right.
but it was a great opportunity to finally be able to like arrange music for a
Mm-hmm.
band and be able to listen back to it.
Yeah. Would you want to arrange for Panorama in Trinidad, or have you done that yet?
Not yet. I would love to though.
Yeah. All right. I'll try and help you out.
Okay, cool.
Would you when it comes to Panorama, would you rather hear soca songs or would you rather hear originals, or do you think it matters?
Original music.
Yeah.
Yeah, original music is always better. I feel like, especially as an arranger, you're doing all this arrangement of different people's music.
Right.
You have the ability to come up with 10 minutes of music. Is like if you put that same effort into trying to compose something, although
Hmm.
not every arranger can do it,
Right.
but it's definitely worth a try. It's almost like hand in hand, arranging and
Hmm.
composing. You know, like,
Right. Interesting. Maybe I'll compose a song one day. I don't
yeah, sure.
know. Um, so for yourself, do you prefer to do your own songs, or would you like to do some covers, or a bit of both?
excuse me. I would like to
Excuse.
mostly do original music.
Okay.
I feel like almost most of my life I've been doing covers,
Right.
and most of the time is because of the occasion, like playing for weddings, playing
Mm-hmm.
for like a lot. I do a lot of private stuff as well.
Right.
So, and in those cases, you're not really like it's not a show. You're just more like ambiance, or you bring a certain element that's needed, and that's
Mm-hmm.
pretty much it.
Yeah.
And
Do you
they request songs they want to hear. So there's
Oh,
no
okay.
room for original music. Although I
Right.
still throw it in here and there.
I was gonna say you can literally just throw it in there and they won't know.
Exactly.
And if they like it, they like it. You could just say, "Well, it's on my album."
Yep.
Um, so doing a lot, like I've only heard a little bit of what you've done over the years, but I did some research and you've done so much. Like you've played for the Mighty Shadow. I saw Ludacris on there, Jesse J. You've even performed for the MTV VMAs.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
So 2005, my freshman
Yeah,
year at Florida Memorial University in Miami.
right.
The program is run by, well, it was run by Dr. Dawn Batson. Love her.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
so she basically got the hookup for us to play at the VMAs.
Wow.
Yeah, so yeah, that was pretty much it. First year in college, so that was a really like mind blowing experience. Like not even I wouldn't even say my first year, my first couple of days at the college, like within 2 weeks, this happened.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
So what was that experience like for you?
it was crazy. Um,
Yeah.
so we did the rehearsal. We did the first rehearsal with like the Miami Heat dancers or whatever.
Right.
And then I think probably a couple of days before the VMAs, we did a rehearsal, like an actual dress rehearsal on
Mm-hmm.
stage, whatever, whatever. So after the dress rehearsal, Ludacris came up to us and he's like, I'm having a private party on South Beach. If you guys want to come through, come through.
Oh, okay.
So me and a close friend of the family, he's almost like my cousin. We went, and it was like it's kind of surreal being around. Like I seen Jay-Z came up to us and like shook our hand out of nowhere.
Wow.
Suge Knight was there, Nick Cannon, just a bunch of. Remember, 2 weeks into college, all
Yeah.
it was
Wow.
crazy. Then we did the actual performance, which was like the intensity was up there.
Right. So out of everything that you've done over the years, is that like your top?
I would probably have to say yeah.
Yeah. What would be the next one down to that?
I would say playing in Trinidad for the first time with Elon Trotman.
Okay. How did that come about?
Um, I mean, just playing with Elon, and he gets his gigs, and I'm the side
Right.
man.
Okay. So did he fly you out or did you have to go there yourself?
No, we get flown out and put up.
Okay. So you're that type of guy. You get
I mean,
flown out.
that's the artist life. You know what I mean?
Nice, nice. Um, so you're a recent Berkeley college professor.
Yes.
Is that something you wanted to do when you graduated, or did someone just ask you, "Hey, do you want to be a? We got an opening. Are you interested?"
So, to answer the first question, I
Yeah.
never wanted to teach.
Oh, okay.
Never. Like I grew up knowing like I didn't want to teach at first,
Okay. Right.
and then as time went on, and I've gained so much knowledge over the years because my motto is always to be like a sponge, try to pick up
Mm,
as much from whoever it is,
right.
pick up information, and we'll do whatever I have to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say my junior year, I was approached by Ed Saden about the opportunity of teaching there. And I gave it some thought, and of course I said yeah. Like, I said yeah. At first it didn't fall through, so it's been in the works for a while now.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I would say when I graduated, talk started to pick up again, and then it died down, and then probably like 2 weeks before fall semester 2019, I got the call like, hey, it looks like it's gonna happen. So I'm like, all right, cool. A week before the semester starts,
Mm-hmm.
they're like, we need you to come up, and I'm like, cool. And that's pretty much. I mean, I would have loved to have more than a week to prepare, but
Right.
it was all good. I was
Okay.
definitely fortunate for the opportunity.
Nice. Hello, Pantry and Bagel. I just saw them pop in. Um, so if I was a student, what would I expect in your class? Should I be scared? Is there a lot of exams? What's happening?
No. So I teach mostly private lessons. So private
Okay.
lessons, of course, is one-on-one with the students.
Okay.
It varies from 30-minute lesson to an hour lesson. So most of the time, we start the class off by me asking you what's your goals for the class. Where
Okay.
do you see yourself at the end of the semester? And slowly but surely, we start working on that. And
Okay.
working on a number of things. Comping, which I think is very important and not
Mm-hmm.
spoken about enough in Pan. We
Right.
almost kind of leave it to the guitar pans, but if
Yeah.
there's no guitar pan there, or cello or whatever, you know what I mean, and it's
Yeah.
a whole different, completely setting. What do? Sometimes sometimes they want to hear you play chords, and
Right.
sometimes it's needed. So we work on that, comping, of course, like improvisation, um, working on different genres of music, or
Mm-hmm.
pretty much just sticking to um, reading music, or sometimes because they have ratings as well. So I'll look at their ratings and say, all right, you need to work on this. We need to work on this, and that's pretty much how it
Okay.
goes.
Okay. So if someone, I'm not calling myself out, but someone like myself
Mhm.
wants to kind of get better on improvisation, how would you tell someone to work on that?
The first thing you need to do is learn the vocabulary and learn
Okay.
the basics like triads,
Yeah.
chords, scales, stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay. So if anyone out there needs improvement like myself.
Yeah, that's always the place to start. Scales,
Yeah.
chords,
Okay. All right. All
a
right.
lot of listening too.
Mm,
Music is 50% listening and 50% playing,
right.
and that's very
I
important to know as well and practice.
right. Yes. How often do you practice? Do you practice a lot? What
Yes.
is a typical day of a Kareem?
Nowadays, no.
Okay.
I would say growing up, probably from like the age of 9, 10 years old, I used to
Hmm.
practice nothing less than an hour a day.
Okay.
So some days like would get really intense. So some days I'll practice for like 5, 6 hours,
Oh wow.
and then there's other days where it could vary from
Hmm.
anywhere from an hour to 2 hours on a regular day basis.
Okay.
Nowadays, with having a family and having a bunch of responsibilities, I would say it's about an hour every day. And I pretty much, sometimes I don't even get the time to go over that much of time.
Right. Okay. So, as you mentioned over the years, practice, and you started young, what was the best advice you've received and you're using it to this day?
Say that one more time. Sorry.
It's okay. So that you've said that you've started playing piano since you were young. So
Hmm.
over the years, what is the best advice you've been given that you use in your life today?
Um, be a sponge. Goes back to the
Mm,
sponge. Yeah. Be a
yeah,
sponge, learn as much as possible, apply what you learn, and repeat the cycle. Just keep repeating the cycle.
keep repeating. Is that the same advice you'd give to your students or anyone else that's looking to become an arranger or composer?
Um, I mean, different things work for different people, but I would say pretty much always. I mean, generally speaking, you should always want to learn as much as possible.
Hmm.
But for my students, I go every student is different. So some may need to hear that, and some may not need to hear that.
Right, right. So what would you, if it wasn't your students and just the viewers that are watching today, what would you tell them?
As far as what?
Just advice. Just what advice would you give them?
Um, Generally speaking, or pertaining to
Generally
music.
speaking. Generally speaking.
It's kind of hard because sometimes I want to give advice, and
Uh-huh.
sometimes that advice is meant for me. So,
I
um,
mean,
yes, I mean, I don't even know where to start. But as far as music, I would say treat the music nice, and the music will treat you nice.
okay. I like that. I will definitely keep that in here. um, I mentioned earlier that you're focused on jazz. Is there a particular reason why you decided to stick to jazz besides like any other music?
Um, I feel like jazz is the most challenging.
Mm,
Um, Besides like classical music, jazz is very challenging. There's so much different types of jazz.
right.
Like I love Afro-Cuban jazz.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say that's probably my favorite.
Yeah.
Besides from like Caribbean jazz as well. I would
Hmm.
say Afro-Cuban jazz and Caribbean jazz is head to head. Just it's just so wide. It's just so the vocab. There's so much different vocabulary. There's so much different legends to study.
Right.
There's so much different tunes. It's like jazz is never ending.
Hmm.
And I feel like if you could play jazz, you could pretty much play anything else.
Very true. Very true. Have you tried classical or have you
Yeah.
thought about, yeah, have you composed classical music? Have you thought about doing it?
No,
Would you
no,
try doing it?
no, that's not my thing.
No? Okay. All right.
I
Um,
enjoy playing it though.
do you have a favorite classical song or your go-to that you just want to touch your pan, you see it and you just,
Not really.
no? Do you have a go-to song?
I would say panelist culture now.
No? Okay. So it changes.
Panelist culture or in the mood for vibes.
Okay. I can see that. I can see that. So we're nearing the end of our interview. So everyone that's watching, he's in the hot seat now. So get your questions ready. He can't move. He can't leave. Right?
Correct.
Right. So while people get their questions ready, give us a little fun fact about you. PG, because I gotta put this back online.
Um, I'm into sports. I would say
Okay. Mostly basketball or just anything?
mostly basketball and um American football, and that's only because being from New York, we're not really football isn't really our thing. But
Right.
I went to school in Miami, and that was it.
Okay.
Down south, everything is football. So
Right. Okay. So, speaking of sports and basketball, did you watch the fight on over the weekend?
Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
Yeah, I seen it.
What did you think about it?
I think it was great. It was cool. Um,
Hmm.
Mike Tyson definitely still got it.
He
I was
does.
kind of scared for Roy Jones for a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Did you see the Nate Robinson and Jake Paul fight?
No, I seen the replays though, and that's all everybody's talking about. And Kareems and all of that.
Yeah, like I watched it and my jaw just dropped. I was like, what did I just witness?
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing outside the ring, then it's a
Hmm.
whole different story out inside the ring when the lights is shining on you.
Yeah.
The whole, because I'm pretty sure he's been training for the fight,
Hmm.
but you could train all you want sometimes, but it's a whole different story. They say once
Yeah.
what's Mike Tyson's favorite line? He said something like um something about it's all something until you get hit.
Yes. Something like
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Wow. Well then, I was just, do you have anything you want to tell us that we didn't touch on?
I just launched, well, probably a couple of months ago, I launched my Panorama culture page on
Okay.
Instagram. And it's um, mainly a page to display and promote um, Pan, of course,
Hmm.
but at a certain level. So um, the video must be high quality. Um, and it got to be a great representation of Pan.
Mm.
Also, I'll be releasing my Panels Culture apparel once again.
Nice.
Yeah.
No, Augustus, he's not playing tonight. He's resting.
No, Gus, not today, man. Our room is kind of upside down, so I can't do much right now. I can't play
Fair enough.
music. Can't do that right now.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Next time.
Next time for sure, for sure.
Okay. Okay, cool. Um, so you said you just launched your Insta, it's on Instagram?
Yeah.
And what is it? What's the Instagram handle? So people can go
Pan,
follow it.
pan, pan roots culture.
Okay. And we can find everything pertaining to Pan, like,
Well, I'm probably gonna make my first post tomorrow, but there's no post there as yet.
okay. But we still
But
can follow it. Look out for
yeah,
posts, future
for
posts.
sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. But
Yeah.
tomorrow I may, being that it's the first, I may post something. So
Okay.
be on the lookout for that.
Okay. And you said you're gonna be releasing apparel soon.
Yeah.
When can we look for that?
Um, I would say early to mid next year, 2021.
Okay. All right. So we'll definitely look out for that. I'll be ordering a couple shirts or hoodies, whatever you have. Elevation has a question. What does decollation have coming up?
Mr. Andre White right there.
Uh-huh.
Um, we have a couple of things coming up. We have, well, I kind of don't want to spoil it. I kind of want it to
Okay.
be kind of a surprise.
Okay. But it's coming up
We
soon?
definitely, yeah, I would say
Okay.
before the end of the year. But
Okay.
we definitely have um, a few things dropping the end of this year and going into next year, of course. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Looking out for that. How have you been handling being on lockdown or during the COVID and performing or playing or doing anything pertaining to Pan? How have you been handling that?
Um, I would say it's been pretty good for me. I have, well, I had a residency at this spot in Brooklyn called Cafe Ozuli,
Okay.
but everything was outdoors, and now the weather is starting to get really cold.
Right.
So, but besides that, generally speaking, a lot of the performing aspect of things are kind of like dying down right now. So
Mhm.
right now, because I do a lot of production, but I haven't been doing a lot of production, I would say within the last year. But I feel like now is the time for me to pick up with doing a lot more production.
Mhm.
I've been doing a lot of like sending recordings. People ask me to record a lot. So I've been doing that and teaching privately outside of Berkeley. So those two things kind of helped me up for a while
Yeah.
having the residency.
Right.
But now things are changing like really, really, really rapidly. So
Mhm.
mhm.
Yeah. Have you done any performances virtually?
I think I did one.
Yeah.
I did one with just featuring myself. But besides that, I did the Panorama, which was
Yes.
in I think March or May,
Yeah.
somewhere there. Yeah.
Yeah. How was that for you?
It was cool. That actually got me back in the groove to really start back practicing.
Mm.
Because
Okay.
before then I wasn't practicing as much as I feel like I should be.
Mhm.
But that was like the wake up call. So
Right.
yeah.
Those things, that's the way it usually works.
But besides that, it was definitely a great opportunity seeing like a lot of fellow panists and pan women play. It was really great because it introduced me to a lot of people as well, like a lot of
Yeah.
that I never heard of.
Yeah, for sure. Bree, hello Bree. She has a question for you. Any plans to publish your original works or Steel Pan workbooks for beginner or advanced students?
So just to answer the question, yes. Um,
Okay.
I'm actually working on a lot of educational videos and like PDFs and stuff like that. So
Nice.
besides from just the musical compositions and the arrangements, I'll also have like PDFs of like what you we were talking about earlier, like learning how to improv. So I'll have like probably a short video, a promo video, then I'll have
Hmm.
a PDF that goes along with it. So I have a few things in the works. Um,
Nice.
I kind of don't like talking about it because now it
That's fair.
gives me more pressure to have to be on top of it, which is good. But
Yeah.
sometimes, kind of like with my album too, I told people too early that it was coming out. So after like 4 or 5 months, everybody's like, "Man, where's the album?" So
Right.
yeah,
That's fair. But telling us now, you kind of have to do it now.
yeah. I mean, I will,
Yeah.
without a doubt.
Um, so when you do bring those out, where can we find it? Would it be on your website? Would it be on your Instagram page?
It so Instagram is kind of like my main thing besides my website.
Okay.
Um, and everybody now is using a link tree thing.
Yeah. Right.
So pretty much with the link tree, I'll always be updating that. So you can just go to the link tree and you'll see all my new stuff, my apparel, my this, that.
Nice. Nice. Um, I literally had a question for you. Is there anything else you want to let us know about? Well, I think about the question I had.
Um, not really. I
Not
kind of
really,
sort of find things out as they go.
as I come.
Yeah,
Um,
just give too much information at once.
Fair enough. I mean, it'll be between us. I don't know how many people are in here, but just us. No one will talk about it.
I mean, you never know. It may have 1,000 views tomorrow.
Let's hope. um, Panorama is coming back in May. Do you think you're gonna partake in that?
Where at?
It's gonna be on Instagram.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So
Pan
not really gonna have like a home base then.
Not to my knowledge. As far as I know, he's looking for people to be on the program. So I think you should look into that.
Who's organizing?
Nevin.
Hmm, interesting.
Yeah, you should look into that. I think you would do very well.
Yeah. Um,
So Buju has a question. With an all-star group that makes up the coalition, how is music arranged, composed between the members, especially because the members has vast amount of knowledge and experience in music?
so when we started the coalition, um, part of our goal was to have everybody showcase their I guess composition slash arrangements.
Hmm.
So so far, I believe everyone has done an arrangement of sorry, either of a cover or an original song. But we actually have something coming up where everybody played a part in this one
Okay.
arrangement. So yeah.
All right. So we'll be
So,
looking
so
out for that
it
as
varies
well.
pretty much. So it varies from one person doing an arrangement to all of us. Sometimes we collab too, so it's kind of just up in the air on what's the vibes really, pretty much.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm. So when you're composing a song or arranging a song, do you have to be in a certain mood, or you just do it?
Mm, I would say I have to be in a certain mood,
Yeah.
but usually for me, it comes to me.
Mm.
So sometimes I could be in the bathroom, sometimes I could be in a grocery store, sometimes I could be, I could be anywhere, and sometimes this idea comes to me, and it's like, all right, voice memo time.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
that's pretty much what it's been
Yeah.
for the most part, voice memo. Because sometimes you either gotta wait till you go home, or you gotta try to somehow. Because it's hard to when these ideas come to you, you have to capitalize on it
Right.
because you're not guaranteed to. It's not guaranteed to come back to you
Right. Right. Is there a song that you've arranged and you're just like, what was I thinking?
in a good way or bad way.
We'll say a bad way.
I would say probably my first couple of arrangements that I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I,
Yeah.
like when I listen back to them, I'm like, man, why did I even do this?
Right.
Only because there's a lot of mistakes harmonically
Mm.
that I didn't learn enough to do an arrangement of us. Is because the original song that I did compose just for you,
Yeah.
my very first arrangement. It's not a song that you would want to do on your very first arrangement.
Right.
So yeah, it was every time I listen to it, it's like, all right, next track.
Well, you've learned from it and now you know what not to do.
Yeah,
Yeah. Or what works and what doesn't work.
yeah. But as
Um,
as for a good thing, I would say like any of my new stuff, like I'm
mhm.
excited. Yeah.
Nice. Nice. Elevation again has a question. Favorite arranger and composer?
Kind of answered that already.
You
Favorite
can,
arranger would be Clive Bradley. Favorite composer would be hmm, besides like Stevie, I would say Herbie, Herbie
mm,
Hancock, Joe Henderson, um, more Caribbean. I mean, I take a little bit from everybody. Like I love what
right.
Etienne Charles is doing. I love what Elon Trotman does with some of his music.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. A few others. I would have to think. That's a question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I was gonna ask you, do you think in the Pan fraternity we should have more composers than arrangers? Or
Yes.
do you think, yeah?
Yeah. And Bugsy kind of laid out the blueprint for that already.
Hmm.
But once again, it's not easy for every arranger to be a composer.
Right.
Although it works hand in hand and it's something that you have to really put time into, but
Mm-hmm.
it's always easy to arrange something that's if you have the form already, you have the harmony, you have the melody. Like it's easy to arrange that already, but if you have to come up with everything pretty much the entire composition, every note, every chord, every you know what I mean, the melody
Mm-hmm.
is much more difficult, but I feel like and especially as a veteran arranger or someone who's been arranging for more than let's say 8 to 10 years, you should be able to compose
Mm-hmm.
something.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully we see something for next whenever Panorama comes back around. We'll see more originals.
But
But
the wave now is soca,
yeah.
which is good because it involves a lot of the young, the young crowd, the young people,
Mm-hmm.
and we need that in Pan. We want that. We encourage the youngsters to kind of take it over.
Right.
Um, I feel like if the compositions is rich enough, it can still have the same impact on the younger players.
I hear that. I 100% agree. Mahalia has a question. Who would you like to collaborate with,
Mm.
dead or alive?
See, that widens the whole
Oh,
spectrum.
should I close it back?
Um, See, when you ask a question like that, 1,000 names pop up in my head. So it's like,
What's the first one? What's the one that you want us to say?
um, all right. So I'll just go with Roy Ayers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because he's also one of my favorite artists.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he plays vibraphone as well,
yeah,
marimba.
yeah.
So that's right in the Pan family.
Mm-hmm. Buju has another question. Create an all-star steel band to go on tour with.
The coalition, um,
There you go.
with of course some additions because
Yeah.
there's a lot of bad cats out here. So,
Hmm.
but yeah, the coalition. That's what we're trying to do. Hopefully,
Yeah.
eventually, that's what we're trying to do.
You guys need to come to Canada, do a Canada tour.
For sure, for sure.
Junior Foster has a question. What is your take on modern music producers using pan sounds in their production? Do you think they should stick to traditional recording techniques of playable pan compositions, or are you a fan of innovative sound decision editing pan solos?
Uh, I would say there needs to be more of a balance of both,
Hmm.
as far as using pan sounds and using the authentic sound of a pan.
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely a fan of solos and all that stuff, of course. But there's so much more that needs to be done with pan,
Right.
um, especially when it comes to like using um, just messing around, just tweaking the sound a little bit, adding a lot of effects, which I
Mm-hmm.
see this guy in California does. Um, a lot of stuff like that, pretty much. But I feel like with the pan sounds, it has to be a balance.
Right.
It has to be a balance. I know it's difficult for a lot of people to mix pan um, to get because I know there's a certain sound. Because even a lot of people told me like um, they don't think pan belongs on everything
Right.
because it
I
kind of throws up. That's their opinion. I disagree
Yeah. So do
100%.
I. So do I.
I mean, I kind of dig what they're saying a little bit, but I guess it's because it's something that they're not used to as well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, putting just a little bit of everything in everything.
Yeah.
Um, pan sounds. Yeah, I don't
Do
want
you
to.
think do you think as a pan fraternity we're kind of heading in the right direction of exposing pan to different genres? Or do you think we need to do like there's a lot of work to be done still?
So I think that the 20 best pan players in the world
Mm-hmm.
should all release 4 videos a month.
Okay.
I feel like that's one of the ways to push it in people's face.
Right.
And that's why I say the 20 best, because it's you're getting the best of the best.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting all types of um, different sounds. So you have like Victor Provost, who brings like the more traditional jazz.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have like a cat like Andre White, who brings more of a Caribbean jazz aspect of it, especially dealing with the steel band.
Right.
Then you have Foster. I mean, I could go on and on. I could just name
Yeah.
all the different cats that's
Yeah.
killing. Yeah, I feel like if that happens, we'll get a lot more exposure. Because all right, something like Jam of the Week, where features
Right.
all these different musicians. If pan players were to participate in that like religiously,
Uh-huh.
just like little stuff like that, and just putting it in their face
Right.
and showing them what pan could do, pretty much.
Fair enough. Buju has a question. Who decides on the 20 best?
The people. It's always up to the people.
Right.
Yeah.
So who would be your top five? Not naming yourself.
Um, that's a hard question because
Okay.
I don't want to leave nobody out. So I would say Victor Provost, not in any order. Victor
Mm-hmm.
Provost, Andre White, um, Leon Foster, um, Bugsy Sharp, of course.
Of course.
Um,
Foster said Liam Teague has to be one.
Liam T. Here we go.
Yeah.
That's 5.
That's your five? Cool. Sorry, Fantastics just had a comment. Danielle, thanks for opening the pan world to us panists. You're welcome. I appreciate that. So, is there anything else you want to say before we say goodbye for the night?
Not really. I felt like I
Not
said
really. Said
for
enough.
yeah.
All right. Well, we'll be we'll be looking out for your next album. Your Instagram, everyone follow. Want to say it one more time before we leave?
Pan Roots Culture.
Nice.
PANROOTSCULTURE.
Nice. Kenneth said he'll be taking the 400th spot.
No, man. No, man.
I mean, you got to push your way up there, man. You're a lot closer than you think. Um, so yeah, I just want to thank you again for being on the show. I appreciate it. Learned a lot. We're
Hold on.
gonna be looking out for you.
Can Cordis.
Ah,
Can't forget. Khan, sorry.
yeah, Con, yeah,
I can't forget Khan.
yeah.
So that's 6, and I don't want to throw nobody under the bus. So let's just keep it at 6.
Okay. We'll talk off screen about that. So again, thank you for coming on our show. I appreciate it. I want to thank everyone watching. Make sure you check him out. He has a lot of things in the works, so let's support each other. And you have a good night.
Same to you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thank you. Good night, everyone.